Runner 2049 is a sequel to the much revered 1982 original Blade Runner. This sequel kept a lot of the dystopian themes, and the cinematic universe has been expanded from the original in this sequel. The cinematography of Blade Runner 2049 is just breathtaking and visually stunning. I'm certain come Oscar time it will probably get nominated in the categories of Best Visual Effects or Cinematography, and just may possibly win both. Blade Runner 2049 stars Ryan Gosling, Harrison Ford, Robin Wright, Jared Leto, Dave Bautista, Ana de Armas, Mackenzie Davis, and Sylvia Hooks. Based 30 years after the events of the original film, this sequel tells the story of a young police officer played by Ryan Gosling, known as K, who hunts down potentially dangerous replicants, which are bioengineered humans. While performing his duties, he discovers things that lead him on a path to search for answers from Rick Deckard, played by Harrison Ford, who's been missing for 30 years and was a former LAPD officer, much like Gosling's character K. Their kind had been given the nickname Blade Runner for their ruthless pursuit and task to retire or kill replicants. This movie explores themes of creation, existentialism, isolation, humanity, and family. If you haven't seen the original, you may want to go back and rent it before watching the sequel because so much is happening in this movie that you'll get lost if you don't have the backstory from the original. In fact, I strongly recommend it as a prerequisite. The movie gives a little background for those who haven't seen the original, but I believe you'll have a much richer understanding and experience of Blade Runner 2049 if you're familiar with the source material it's based on. One thing this movie gets right, as I mentioned earlier, is the cinematography. The futuristic dystopian world that director Denis Villeneuve creates in this movie is absolutely stunning. I found myself wanting to live in this bleak world just to experience all of its futuristic wonder. This is not the Los Angeles I hope to live in permanently, but I'd be more than happy to visit it with repeated viewings of Blade Runner 2049. With a budget of $200 million, this movie's visual effects and CGI are absolutely amazing. The tone of the movie maintains a very similar atmosphere, like that of the original. It even pays homage to the original with a similar opening shot. The Tyrell Corporation that created the replicants is now owned by Wallace, played marvelously by Jared Leto. We follow Ryan Gosling's Blade Runner character, who has been tasked with hunting down the remaining replicants the Tyrell Corporation created 30 years earlier, who were found to be defective because they were capable of murder. There's so much symbolism and subtext happening in this movie that if you just watch it for its face value, you might miss much of the subtext, and you may not appreciate it. The movie has some long stretches of scenes that take their time, and I found this to be one of the beauties of the film. Others may find it somewhat annoying as the dialogue-heavy scenes can seem to drag on since it pushes the movie near the 3-hour mark. But I thought that these scenes were shot at just the right pacing, and there is some action in this movie. It's choreographed just perfectly with convincing performances. The musical score in the movie echoes throughout the theater, just like the original, and I'm guessing it will earn huge points during the Oscars. The theater I saw this in had no air conditioning, and it was like a sauna, with me having to wipe beads of sweat from my forehead periodically. Yet I found myself on the edge of my seat throughout most of the movie, as the mystery unfolded before Ryan Gosling's character of why he was being sent to eliminate evidence that could endanger society or even change his own outlook on his existence. The movie had just the right amount of twists and turns to keep things interesting. I thought Ryan Gosling's character Kay had a very human element to him, especially in the scenes with his holographic girlfriend played by Ana de Armas. Robin Wright's performance as the police chief was also solid. This is the kind of movie that I would enjoy watching repeatedly to fully grasp everything that's being said, as the script is full of flowery, philosophical language. Harrison Ford isn't in very much of the movie, but when he's in the frame for the scenes, he steals the show. I give Blade Runner a 97% rating. This movie is nearly perfect. I consider it a modern masterpiece and a welcome addition to the sci-fi genre. It was everything I was hoping for and more, building on the original classic and expanding its universe, philosophical scope, and storyline. The only main issue I had with Blade Runner 2049 was that we weren't given too much of a backstory. This is why you should watch the original first. And some of the characters could have used a little more development, but overall, the rest of the movie's strengths with the directing, music, cinematography, editing, acting all earned huge points with me and overshadowed any of its minor weaknesses. It's kind of sad that this movie hasn't done as well financially as the studio hoped, but I have a feeling it will become a cult classic just like the original, and definitely warrants viewings on the big screen. Before you go see this movie, check to make sure you've seen and liked the original, or you may be set up for disappointment with this sequel. And if you've seen the original, hopefully you'll come to love this second outing of the Blade Runner universe as much as I did. Blade Runner 2049 has high user and critical reviews. Movie friends, I value your thoughts. If you saw Blade Runner 2049, tell me, what did you think of the movie? What were some of the best scenes for you? Subscribe to get more movie reviews with opening weekend audience reactions every week. Let's fill the minutes with real minutes. And remember to share, subscribe, comment, and check out my other videos. Here are a few comments from some of the audience members I got to talk to.
It's really good, enjoy it, kept good, stay good to the original.
I thought it was really good. It was really freaking long, but it was really creative and it seemed really unique, I guess, for today. The effects were amazing, the acting was great, the action was really good. No, I really liked it. I thought they did a really good job.
I didn't see the first one because I'm still 17, but it was a very good movie. The cinematography is really good. I get like the same feeling going to Los Angeles as looking at the movie because it's kind of like dystopian still. It was pretty complicated, the story, but overall it was just a really good movie.
What I thought of Blade Runner 2049 was I enjoyed the movie. They were great characters. The story was good. The acting was phenomenal. I love the villain. That's like the most cold-hearted bitch that I've seen in a long time. So I really enjoyed it. And the cinematography was insane. Roger Deakins did a fantastic job. For my money, it was a bit too long. If I could say one thing, like just as a guy taking his girl out for a movie on a Thursday night, pushing the 3-hour limit was just, by the end, it was kind of like, okay, I'm ready for this thing to be over. I was ready like about 45 minutes ago. Other than that, I really enjoyed it. That's what I got. Thanks.
My name is Eric. Blade Runner is one of my all-time favorite films, so I was very highly anticipating this film. I love the way that this kind of presented a lot of the ideas from the original film and expanded on it, but also expanded the universe. And you can tell that there's a lot of ideas. This isn't a film that can be enjoyed in one setting. You have to watch it multiple times because it has a lot of great ideas involved in it. So I think this will be a masterpiece. This is one of my favorite films of the year so far. I would give this an A+.
Thanks for watching my review on Real Minutes. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to click like or subscribe.